it's a lot of new information that then came out with this David case, and it's bad. So before I get into this video, I just want to make it clear this is for educational purposes only. I'm doing this video only to shed light on this situation and encourage all parents out there, no matter race or color, to just always protect your kids, man. And to the men, never take your eyes off your daughter, period. Because when I look at this stuff with Celeste and her parents doing this research, in all honesty, how I just feel like her parents failed her 1000%. That's just me. And I'm gonna break down this case and the new documents that were filed. That were released a few days ago. But before I start reading, I just want to let y'all know it's gonna get real gruesome. Like, some of this stuff is kind of like hard to fathom. It's gonna be hard to read, hard to grasp. So if you need a breather, or if this ain't the video for you, I encourage you just to leave right now. But if you came over here for an update, I'm about to break it down. And if you're new to the channel, hit the like button, subscribe, share, comment down below, man. It's T-RaeTv, and over here, I don't give lies or spin narratives. I just say what I feel. Let's go. On September 8, 2025, the manager of the tow yard where the Tesla had been impounded noted the strong smell of decay and presence of flies coming from the vehicle. He notified Los Angeles Police Department, Hollywood auto detectives, who determined the Tesla was registered to defendant through departmental resources. At the tow yard, LAPD detectives opened the Tesla's front storage compartment and observed a black cadaver bag covered in insects. Inside the bag, they discovered a severely decomposed head and torso. A black garbage bag beneath the black cadaver bag contained the dismembered arms and legs. However, the victim's ring and pinky fingers on her left hand had been amputated and were not found in the Tesla. On September 16, 2025, the Los Angeles County Medical Examiner's Department positively identified the body from dental records as belonging to the victim. I knew about the car being towed and them smelling the odor at the impound lot and all that stuff, like everything leading up to that. But what I didn't know was the bottom part. See, when they broke this story down last year, or well, when the story broke, when people started talking about this online, I didn't hear too many people talking about her remains. The only, as far as her arms and her legs went, I think people were only saying stuff like she had like a half torso, like a skeleton, like a skull or something like that. But it's been confirmed now that her arms and her legs were in the trunk as well. And also she was missing a few fingers, which you're gonna learn too as we continue reading, because pay attention to what I'm about to get into now, because they break down the full timeline of the relationship, how long it's been going on, and what might have caused her death, and everything in between. Pursuant to their investigation, LAPD robbery homicide detectives determined that the victim and the defendant met in January 2022 when she was 11 years old. They began a sexual relationship in November 2023 when the victim was 13 years old and the defendant was 18. Detectives learned that the victim had been reported missing to the Riverside County Sheriff's Department by her family, who lived in Lake Elsinore, in February and April of 2024. RCSD contacted the defendant on February 17, 2024, after they identified a phone number in the victim's phone records that belonged to him. During the call, the defendant claimed he had spoken to the victim last on February 13th or 14th, 2024, but stated he was unaware she was a minor or she had been reported missing. RCSD advised him that the Los Angeles Sheriff Department deputies would be coming to his home. On that day, the defendant was living at 804 North Dehaney Place in West Hollywood. RCSD requested that LASD conduct a welfare check at the defendant's home. LASD deputies went to the defendant's home that night at 8:15 and informed him that the victim was 13-year-old runaway. Defendant again claimed that he was unaware she was a minor and only met her once in person in November of 2023. However, the defendant showed deputies a yearbook photo of the victim he had in his cell phone. And although he claimed to be aware of the victim and where she was at the time, she returned home 2 days later. They met when she was a damn baby, basically. And in 2022, she was 11 years old. And 2 years after that is when they started having sexual relationship when she turned 13 and he was 18. And ain't it crazy? Like right after that, it like they started saying like she started like going missing all the time and stuff. See, my thing with that when she started going missing is, where was the parents? Like, where's your parents? And how was he able to build a 2-year relationship with this girl from the ages of 11 to 13 and they not know what's going on? That ain't making no sense to me. Then what's even more confusing is, David, to me, he kind of played crazy with the police, like he barely knows Celeste, or he stopped talking to her when he found out she was a minor, had no idea she was missing. But you got pictures of this girl in your phone though. 2 days after that, police do a welfare check at your house, and then all of a sudden she just popped back up at home. I don't know. Like I might be looking too deep into that, like what that part that I just read, but it seemed like to me the family was playing games with David, and it's kind of like they all was in cahoots with this shit that was going on. Like these people knew who David was. They knew David. That's what it's kind of giving off, because you don't just let your kid at that age just wander off. And several times where it's like when she gone, it's a problem. But you don't push the same issue when she come back. Why when she ain't come back, y'all ain't never put the police on him then? It was only when she disappeared and be gone for a long period of time. At least that's what kind of like I'm getting from this. Despite being informed by law enforcement the victim was only 13, he still continued to pursue her. After the victim returned home in February of 2024, her parents took her cell phone away, and he drove to Lake Elsinore and paid a junior high school student in the victim's class $1,000 to give her a cell phone he had purchased to stay in contact with her. Throughout 2024, the victim spent a significant amount of time with the defendant, including summer weekends at his home in Hollywood Hills and traveling with him to Las Vegas, London, and Texas to meet his family. That's why I feel like the parents ain't all that innocent, man. Cause how you let a dude that's 18 years old apply so much pressure on your child? This girl a minor, but you acting like you trying to get the police involved and stuff. Man, it's obvious that they wasn't no threat to David, or he then they weren't applying no pressure, because if he got balls enough to drive to her hometown after y'all done took her phone and give her classmate $1,000 to give her another phone to stay in contact, I'm telling you, man, I'm starting to believe either this fool had everybody spooked, or these folks know more than what they trying to like come off with, like, and it's gonna get worse. So this sound like hush money, man. And I think the family knew what was going on, but it was only when David started breaking like all the way crazy, taking advantage of them giving him a little freedom and stuff, going out the country with the girl, taking her all out of the state, going to London and all that. Like, you 13, you bullshitting. Again, it just seemed like to me it was only an issue when she was too far out of arm's reach. It don't seem like it was this was just no major issue. It say text exchanges between the victim and defendant contain references to sex, pregnancy, abortion, and use of the Plan B emergency contraceptive. There are also explicit photographs documenting and corroborating their sexual relationship. In November 2024, the defendant and the victim broke up, although they continued to communicate, and text messages suggest they also continued to have sexual relations. April 23rd, 2025 is the likely date of the victim's death and when all her cellular activity ceased. The night prior, April 22nd, 2025, the defendant and the victim engaged in a lengthy argument described in detail in their text messages. The messages revealed the victim's jealousy over defendant's relationship with other women, as defendant led her to believe that they had a future together. She became extremely upset and threatened to disclose damaging information about her relationship with defendant to end his career and destroy his life. Defendant's first studio album was due to be released April 25th, 2025. He had an emerging multi-million-dollar career already in progress. He also had multiple product endorsements, which were highly profitable. That's so wild, man. Like you having that much stuff going on with a 13-year-old to the point where she, like y'all sitting up there discussing her getting plan B's and stuff. Yeah, man, he just a predator, man. And then instead of you cutting her off completely in 2014, you still talking to the girl, sexting, and like insinuating that y'all kind of like still mess around. Like this really like some sick ass. This some sick ass shit, man. And you know, I'm just sitting up here thinking, when you just look at this dude, he kind of give off the vibe of the dude in school who was the outsider or, you know, least popular in the class. Just never really just got no girls and stuff like that. Just I really just got no ass. Like shout out to Mike Closet. He basically, in so many words, that's exactly how he said it. He snapped, you know what I'm saying? Shit, I'll play the little clip right here, but it's funny, but it's true though. It's like David put you in the mind of a person who was very manipulative off of the fact of you being a square ball in school, and you take the most youngest girl fresh from, you know, the new freshman straight from junior high, and you just take advantage of her and you just manipulate her mind, because this about all the little piece of little situation you gonna ever get. Like, check this out,
Me of them
man.
kids that was in high school. In my high school, like, they're walking around looking emo. They got the long black hair, black leather jacket. They don't talk to nobody. But the weird thing about them dudes was they always had a little freshman or a little sophomore around them all the time. Like, just, I'm talking about hand in hand, hip to hip. And them little girls and little kids, they literally thought dude was popping. They thought he was like the dude. You know what I'm saying? But all of us in our grade, we know, buddy. We know he just a lame. We know he a square. And it ain't the fact that he emo or he into anime and none of that. It's just the way that he thinks. Them dudes be very manipulative. David wasn't getting no ass. David was a lame, so he was a predator. So he preyed on that little girl and ended up murdering her. I'm talking about, they said apparently he stabbed her multiple times, chopped the body up, and just left it in his trunk.
Like real talk, man. And then Celeste, post Celeste, man, she don't know no better. Like, you see the paperwork, this girl young as hell, bro, and she confused. She confused. Like he got other minors he dealing with. So now she feel like she being cheated on or ready to out y'all business and mess up your career. And I ain't gonna lie, they like some, bro. They like some damn TV show shit, bro. Like, they gotta be like Netflix worthy. They gotta be turned into like a show or something, bro. Page 4, lines 1 through 7 say at approximately 8:40 p.m. on April 23rd, 2025, defendant sent a Uber to transport the victim from her Lake Elsinore home to his residence. They communicated before and during her Uber ride, which dropped her off at the defendant's Hollywood Hills home around 10:10 p.m. At approximately 10:30 p.m., defendant sent text messages to the victim inquiring where she was. The people contend that this was a part of the defendant's premeditated plan to cover up the murder, as she was already dead by this time. I bet he thought he playing this out smart as hell. You could tell this dude young as fuck just by how the way that he went about this shit. If this ain't the most elementary thing to do, like, fool, you already paid for the Uber. So I'm sure they got a track of the Uber driver driving all the way to your front door and what time this girl got out the car. Yeah, man. Yeah, he cold, man. He cold. Knowing he had to silence the victim before she ruined his music career, as she had threatened, very soon after her arrival to his home, defendant stabbed the victim to death multiple times and stood by while she bled out. At no time did he call law enforcement or 911 or take her to an emergency room to attempt to save her life. What I want to know is how he watched her bleed out. Because when I read it, like that to me, like specific detail, in my opinion, that's supposed to stand out. Like, what if this fool really got something on camera? That'll be so wild. Like what if he got footage of this shit? Like, mind you, now they saying he got like over 40 gigabytes of shit in his phone, like CP. I just say it like that for YouTube purposes. Ain't no telling what that fool got. It really wouldn't surprise me. That'll be like so crazy, bro. So crazy. Knowing she was dead and her family was trying to find her, the evidence would show defendant lied and claimed he didn't know where she was. In fact, defendant drove to Santa Barbara County immediately after the victim died, attempting to dispose of her property and destroy evidence. At approximately 11:30 p.m. on April 23rd, 2025, he drove away from his home as he texted and called the victim's phone asking where she was. Again, these were acts calculated and planned to set up his defense within a short timeline after the victim's murder. Defendant drove his Tesla north on the 101 freeway to San Marcos Pass Road, SR 154, near Lake Cachuma in Santa Barbara County. He returned home early the following morning on April 24th, 2025, before going to a radio interview for the release of his album that week. He sent 2 additional texts to the victim's phone that day, which obviously went unanswered because she was already dead. After April 26, 2025, defendant never attempted to contact her. Now, some people think this interview right here is right after this situation with Celeste. Because if you look at the date, it kind of matched the timeline perfectly. So I'm gonna be real, these people gonna have to come out and let us know something, whether this was before or after the killing. Whoever did this interview, like, was this pre-recorded? Was this really like live a few days after? Because I'm sure y'all see people in the comments and the stuff that they saying. Y'all eating like a motherfucker out this video right now. So I know this like your number one notification right now in that studio. Whoever is over this video, I'm sure. Guarantee you. And if this was like the next day or a couple days, like a few hours later, like, man, this nigga is a complete psychopath. For real. Because he's sitting up here right now in this interview, just young, full of joy. Like, only thing you want to do is create music. Whole time before you came in this motherfucker, you done stabbed this poor girl to death. Boy, that, man. Now, we're about to read when he went to shop and buy tools and accessories for this botched ass cover up, because if you thought you were finna get away with this, ain't no fucking way. Yes, technically, the defendant subsequently purchased tools to carry out his plot to dismember and dispose of the victim's body. On April 24, 2025, defendant ordered a shovel from Home Depot that was delivered to his home from Postmates. On May 1st, 2025, defendant ordered and subsequently Amazon delivered 2 chainsaws to his home. On May 5th, 2025, defendant ordered and Amazon subsequently delivered a body bag, heavy-duty laundry bags, and a blue inflatable pool to his home. He made these purchases under the fake name Victoria Mendez. On May 8, 2025, defendant returned to the same area in Santa Barbara County, leaving his home around 11:30 p.m. He returned to the area again May 31st, 2025. This is an isolated site off of SR 154 where the victim's identification was subsequently discovered in January 2026. Additionally, on July 7, 2025, defendant ordered and subsequently Amazon delivered a burn cage to his home under the same fake name as part of the plan to incinerate evidence. Basically, that's him trying to chop the body up and make everything just disappear, vanish. So he called her to the house, stabbed her, let her body, I guess, sit on ice, decompose or whatever for a few days while you made all these Amazon orders and purchases and stuff. Ordered a shovel, body bag, laundry bag, bought 2 chainsaws, an inflatable swimming pool. Bro, this sounds like some shit in a movie, bro. It like when you sit up here and you kind of just visualize this shit, me saying it out loud, like I ain't like this really do seem like a movie. This boy been watching way too many like gore videos and just like on the dark web. Like, man, listen to what I'm saying, man. The way he tried to get rid of the body is what led him to being charged with the body. This insane, like this, this crazy, man. I wonder what his thought process was driving back and forth to Santa Barbara. Like, what was he thinking, or what was he trying to get rid of out there? Or did he take certain remains out there? You know what I'm saying? Because they never did find a couple of these girl fingers. The defendant took horrifying measures to destroy and discard the victim's body. After placing her body into the blue inflatable pool to prevent her blood from spilling onto his garage floor, the defendant used a chainsaw and perhaps other tools to cut off her limbs. Small blue plastic fragments were found embedded in the victim's remains, which were collected by the Los Angeles County Medical Examiner's Department. The fragments were analyzed by the LAPD's Forensic Science Division Trace Analyst Unit. The expert was able to make a physical fit match from the blue fragments to the blue inflatable pool purchased by the defendant in May 2025. In order to distance himself from the victim, he amputated her left finger and pinky fingers because her ring finger contained a tattoo of his name. Her fingers have not been recovered. The defendant then placed her head and torso inside of the cadaver bag he purchased. He placed her limbs in a garbage bag, which he deposited in the front of his trunk, laying the cadaver bag on top. For several weeks or possibly months, the defendant left the victim's body to decompose inside of his Tesla. That's wild, and I guess now we know, him cutting her fingers off was, I guess, him thinking he was getting rid of evidence, not realizing, man, you just sinking yourself in a deeper fucking hole, dude. There's no way he thought he was gonna be able to cut bones and flesh with a chainsaw in a fucking plastic pool. Like, think about the fuckery in trying to do that and thinking that it's gonna work. Like, just sit back and just think about that. And actually thinking that through and thinking that that's actually gonna work. This is why I say this is some movie shit. Because me sitting up here, man, just like reading this, it's like you reading a script off a episode or some shit, like a series or something, bro. This just do not sound real. This boy ass is cooked. He fried, man. It's over with. He lied to friends, business associates, and others who noticed the strong smell of decay in and around his home and vehicle. Before leaving on his concert tour at the end of July, he parked his Tesla on the street around the corner from his home. It's over with, man. I done said that how crazy it was probably 1,000 times, but hey, this messed up, man. And the rest of these pages, they just show evidence of the stuff that they want to show, what they want to present in court. And it's finna get real, man, because I think this might be televised. So get ready, man. We finna experience probably the sickest, like most gruesome rap artist trial in music history. Text messages of Plan B's, explicit pictures of the of her, just nude and stuff like that. Pregnancy talk about abortion. Man, and then it crazy, like in the midst of all that stuff, they even showed and talked about where you'll see where even in the paperwork, this girl was starting to like low key kind of wisen up a little bit, even though she was younger, fucking, like she still had a little sense for herself because she knew David was using her and just playing on her. And she said something like, all we do is have sex and hang out. I want more than that for myself. You got a 13, 14-year-old girl telling your big overgrown ass this. Yeah, fuck him, man. And they got everything they need to just put him in the frying pan. They're like, it'll mess you up reading that stuff. And I just read it, you know, I just had to keep on just putting the disclaimers and stuff in there, just letting y'all know and stuff. But man, however he get it, they need to televise all this. I ain't like he need a live execution. Like they real deal need to like televise his lethal injection or whatever, however he get it. He need to be the example on TV for all the sick people out there doing this same type of stuff every day, tiptoeing around thinking that they getting away with it. You need to see this, and it man. I just want to ask y'all something real quick. You know, do you think Celeste is his first victim, or this is just the chickens came home to roost and he just finally got caught? What y'all think? Leave it in the comments, man. In closing, like, this is wild, sad. I said how I feel. And I could be wrong. That's just opinion. I feel like the parents kind of had some idea what was going on. They were planning to go along, get along. I think money was involved, and I think he just found a group of people just down bad on their luck, need a little money. He rich, he a rapper, easy to manipulate with a vulnerable child. It's wild, man. Wow, that's why I said, like in the beginning, you know, just to all the parents and stuff, just protect your kid, man. It shouldn't be no 4, 5, or 6 times your child go missing and all you do is just notify the police that she don't. Like, man, what do you ain't want to push the issue hard after the second time she came home? It wasn't even really just be a second time on that type of level. She 11 years old, 12 years old, 13 years old, sneaking off to go mess with a nigga that's in his 20s, damn near. Like, so I say, like, make it make sense. It just ain't making no sense to me at all. And then I seen today on TMZ where the father spoke out and he ain't never knew David. I'm like, man, we just gotta wait and see how it play out in court. Everybody's a suspect right now. This little girl dead and gone. And it's obvious that nobody on no end care about her enough to save her and protect her. And it's bad enough you already around here and you praying on this little girl, and then you take her life like that. That's crazy, man. But y'all let me know what y'all think, man. It's T-RaeTv. Hit the like button, subscribe, share, comment down below. Y'all have a blessed night. I'm out.